one that's, you know, pretty simple mechanically, but there's some stuff that we can do to make it a little bit easier to happen in reality. So if I'm dealing with somebody that's like has a hug around my neck here, we don't necessarily think that this is going to be the spot that we're going to attack the Americana, but it can be, because nobody's going to really want to stay here for very long. If what you'll run into is people like trying to hug you and move you around, especially when they're just learning, you know, and if he even connects his hands, you know. I'm not going to try to submit him from here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to mount him, because he can't like stop me from mounting him if he does this kind of thing. Okay, if he does more what Matt was doing here, was like connecting his safety position a little bit, but he's got this arm maybe not in the most ideal spot. I was able to get inside of here before he could frame my neck. What I want to do is just bring this arm and grab his bicep. I don't want to like try and pull it down and make any sort of like make it obvious that I'm going to be attacking this arm. I just want to have a connection to it. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this hand over the top. Okay, now I have both of my hands on this side of his body. When I'm here, there's not too much that he can do. I can kind of be patient here. He's going to have to put his arm back in front to bridge, right, and to make any sort of space. So what I want to do is kind of wait for that. So when I bring this over, I don't just kind of leave it here. I leave this hand, I put it right by my ear. So when he goes to circle his hand, I catch it. Okay? If I'm out here waiting for him, then it's like a reaction time game, and I might not get that. But if my hand is here when I know that I'm trying to find the Americana, now I can grab it as it comes inside. Okay? And then I'm going to roll this hand over and connect my hands like this. Okay? I have my thumbs on top. I'm not grabbing them like a baseball bat. I'm using a monkey grip. Okay? And what we want to do now is pretty obvious. We want to lift his elbow up and isolate his shoulder. But if I try to rotate Matt's shoulder here, he can go a pretty long ways and be fighting this position, okay? He's got a lot of dexterity there. So what I need to do is isolate his shoulder a little bit more. And the way that I can do that is to pull his elbow close to his belt, and now I'm going to turn his pinky towards the floor. Okay, that puts all the tension on his the back deltoid. Okay, now it's going to be a very small lift to get the tap. Okay, you guys see the difference between this, still not tapping him, pulling this in, rotating this, and getting the tap immediately. Okay, it's putting all the tension on the back of the shoulder here. So everybody has different shoulder dexterity. You might not get like a tap back quick, but if you leave it up here and the person has good shoulder dexterity, you'll be running over the top of it and they might not be tapping. Okay, so for our very first basic setup, our partner is going to have, you know, not like a very good defensive position. Okay, I'm going to come over the top, put this hand by my ear, and now I'm going to start to just be patient here. I know he's going to bring the hand inside. I catch it, and I catch. Okay. Go really slow here when you pull the elbow down, because some people will be tapping right away. I pull the elbow towards his belt, I rotate his pinky towards the floor, and very slowly lift my elbow like this. Okay, I want to keep his hand pinned to the ground as I elevate his elbow. Okay, any questions? All right, let's try it. On three. 1, 2, 3. Okay, he still doesn't have like my hip frame. I beat his hip, but he's got this in a spot where I can't just like peel it down, you know? So what I want to do is I want to use my pressure to start to expose his arm. Okay, so I'm still going to put this arm over the top. I'm still going to hold his arm just like this, but now I want to think about driving my head. Okay, and a lot of times when we're thinking about pinning somebody, we're kind of thinking a little bit incorrectly. We're thinking about pinning them like straight across this way, like a perpendicular line. What we really want to do is like bisect that perpendicular crisscross, right? We want to go hip to shoulder. Okay, when we go hip to shoulder, we don't have the same risk of getting bridge and roll, and we're also controlling that hip, so it's harder for them to sneak that bottom knee in and recover the guard. So when I'm pinning and I want to like get his hand to the ground, I'm not going this way. Okay, if I go this way, look, my hips are way up in the air, you guys start some movement. Okay, when I go this way, now my hips stay down, and I'm still connected with my hip flexor on his hip flexor. Okay, so even if he has the frame in a little bit, I go down like this, that weakens his structure pretty significantly. Now I can bring my hand inside, my head goes on top of my hand to help me pin it, connect my hands again, everything else is the same. Pull this down, rotate the pinky towards the floor, and lift as much as you need to make the submission happen.